Hello everyone, welcome again with me, Jaya Gulo from Jadi PNS. Now we have been with a very inspiring young people that now currently studying at University of Toronto, and she's also 2021 Forbes 30 under 30, and also she's the founder of Green Hope Foundation. Been with us with Kehkashan Basu. Hello Kekasha, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. So, you're currently like studying at University of Toronto right now.
Yes, I am.
All right. So, guys, like she's studying right now, and she's been doing a lot of stuff in the middle of her, like her busy activities at the university. So, okay, Kasan, when you were at the age of 8,
Yeah.
like you have been like invited to speak about environment in several conferences, like in Tunza Children and Youth Conference in Indonesia, and also in 2012 you founded Green Hope Foundation. What inspires you to like create Green Hope Foundation?
Sure. So I began my journey in sustainable development and environmentalism when I was 7 and saw the image of a dead bird whose stomach was full of plastic. And I was really disturbed by that image and realized that there was something very wrong with it because that bird wasn't supposed to die from eating plastic. And it was also
Mm-hmm.
around same time that I attended a lecture by environmentalist Robert Swan. And his words, the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it, really resonated with me. And that inspired me to plant my first tree on my 8th birthday, which is also World Environment Day, 5th June. And I started working on the ground for several years. Then, when I was 11, the UN somehow caught hold of the work I was doing. And then I was invited to speak at my first UN conference. And then in 2012, I was at Rio Plus 20, the Earth Summit, and I realized that I was the youngest out of the 50,000 delegates present there. And I really didn't like that because it was our future that was being discussed. But we, as young people, and more than that, children, weren't involved in that process. So that is what inspired me to establish Green Hope Foundation so that I could provide other children and youth with the platform to learn about our world's greatest challenges and then give them the skills and knowledge and the tools to take actions to solve those challenges.
That's amazing. And at a very young age, like 12, how do you convince people to join your organization, Green Hope Foundation?
Well, my mantra has always been that our work speaks for itself. And as a child starting out, it was people often saw my age first instead of seeing my work. But what I did find was passionate, like minded children and young people, children around my age at that time, who wanted to make a difference. And when we started going to different schools and talking to the teachers and the faculty about how we wanted to involve more children and youth and for them to get involved in our academies, which are tailor-made workshops and conferences that are organized by children for children. We realized that there was this opportunity gap that existed, and that is where we came in to provide this peer-to-peer learning through education for sustainable development. So that is the basis of our work, and slowly and steadily we expanded through word of mouth, through people seeing what the impact their work was having. And our goal was never to just go and get members and then that's it. It was about creating positive change, whether we did that with 2 people or whether we did that with 10 or 100. And, now Green Hope Foundation works in 25 countries and we've been able to reach out to over 225,000 people. But the reason we never say that, oh yeah, we're in all 193 countries or anything like that, is because our goal is to create that positive impact. And as a 12-year-old and now like 9 years later, that's the same thing, that it's just our work that speaks for itself. And whoever wants to create make a difference and create change, they come to us, or we just reach out and say if we can work together, and it kind of just goes from there. But at the end of the day, it's the impact, the positive impact that matters.
That's amazing. And now GreenHope has reached 25 countries around the world. And how do you find like the country leaders in every country?
Yeah, again, that's like people who are young people who are passionate, want to bring about change, and who want to lead initiatives in their countries. And it just kind of goes from there. Before the pandemic, we, as the Green Hope
Mhm.
Foundation core team, used to actually go to the different places physically to connect with them and establish those connections. And you can see behind me, we this is a Syrian refugee camp. This is in Nepal. This is in Suriname. That's in Kenya. So we, in all of these pictures, we are there and we are interacting with them, and that is how we establish that connection in the chapter, and then the local members take it forward. Now during the pandemic, it has been more online, where other young people who want to bring about change, they're like reaching out and are like, how do we get more involved, and what can we do? So it kind of goes from there. And in areas where there is no technology available, our chapter heads carry forward the work over there. And, we have very successful ambassador programs in several villages and rural communities in some of the LDCs. So, yeah, again, it's the people see our work and then they approach us.
Right, right. Thank you. And you say like network. So when we meet people like offline or online, so we can get like a assessment whether this kind of person will fit to our organization. And according to you, Kehkashan, what kind of types or criteria that someone has to have that you want to make them as your team?
Sure. So, first of all, it's passion for bringing about change. We work across all areas of sustainable development, from good health to climate action and climate justice to gender equality to peace and nuclear disarmament. So it's very broad. What we do look for is passion and just, having that selflessness for people and planet. And from that passion stemming empathy, honesty, hard work, and optimism, and of course passion. I mean, these five qualities are like something that is embodied by all of our members. A lot of the time we see that people want to do something because they see someone else just do it and they think it's a trend, so oh, let's do it. But it's a lot of hard work, and it requires that passion and honest hard work to be able to bring about change. So yeah, we always say that it's the shortcut won't work. And if you're like just looking for that, it's we're not the people for you. But if you truly want to bring about change, then that is we are here for that. And you have to work very, very hard, because it is a difficult job to ensure that every single community that we work with gets their unique needs met. But at the end of the day, it's so fulfilling, and that is how we function as a family, because these five values bring us together.
Interesting. You just already mentioned about the family. That's how you engage all your team members across the world as a family, and that's impressive. Thank you for sharing. And based on your profile, you have like received a lot of international recognitions, a lot that we cannot mention here. A lot of achievements. So, what do all of the achievements mean for you?
Well, I would say that all my achievements and the awards and all of that, for me, it's just a vindication of my belief that children and young people can bring about change, and that the work that we are doing has been able to create some kind of positive impact. And what I see this kind of recognition as is a way for us to reach out to more children and young people, more vulnerable sectors of society, and just continue our work. And it's kind of like a motivation for us to keep going, because our ultimate goal isn't the award. That it just it's just a motivation for us, that on the way, that oh, we've done this is great, and now we have to do more and keep doing more. So yeah, I mean, for me, that is what the awards and the achievements and the recognition all are. And it's definitely amazing that when we do get this, we also are able to interact with so many other communities, and it's really amazing. So yeah, I'd say that's what all of that recognition means to me.
Wow, such a kind of humble person that we have been interviewing right now, guys. So you have been named like in the 2021 Forbes 30 under 30 list, the youngest person in education category, and also you were recognized by International Diana Award 2025 and a lot of achievements. So among all of the achievements, which one is the most inspiring and rewarding for yourself?
Honestly, I all of the awards and recognitions, they're amazing, but my true
Yeah,
is the work that we do with Green Hope Foundation and the smiles that we bring on the faces of people every day. For me, that is my greatest recognition. And that is something, I mean, the work that we do on the ground, again, that is what results in us being recognized or me becoming Forbes 30 under 30. And all of them are amazing. I don't think I can choose one word, but yeah, I can say that my greatest achievement is being able to bring a smile on the faces of the people we work with through Green Hope Foundation.
amazing. It's so inspiring. And now you're currently like studying at the University of Toronto, majoring in environmental studies. You
Yes.
also been invited as a speakers, and you have to manage Green Hub Foundation across 25 countries in the world. And the question is, how do you manage your time in a day?
Yeah. I mean, that is a question that I've been asked ever since I started at 8, because I've always had to balance it out with school and my work. But, for me, I've never seen these things as separate. I've seen these, my areas of work, both education and Green Hope Foundation, as things I'm extremely passionate about. And, if there's a will, there's a way. And I've always had to put in that extra effort to make sure I'm able to give my 100% to everything that I love doing. But I do it, and it just kind of goes from there. And I am equally passionate about Green Hope Foundation and also about getting excellent grades. So for me, it was never about a compromise. It was just me finding a way to make sure that I'm able to balance both, because I love doing both of these things. I love going to school and always have. And of course, I love Green Hope Foundation. So yeah, it just kind of goes from there. And now, and for the last so many years, I've been like creating these intersections between my education and Green Hope Foundation. And since we work with schools and universities all across the world, it's actually amazing to see how those intersections are created and we bring these realms together. So yeah, it kind of just goes from there. Of course, like I said, I have to work 10 times harder than my peers and make sure that I'm able to catch up on everything, and that I'm able to give my exams and everything on time. And sometimes I even sleep less. So I mean, that's not the best option for my health, but it's something that I voluntarily do because I want to bring about change. So yeah, I think that that's how I manage my time, because I love doing what I do, and whatever happens, I find a way to make sure that it's done with 110%.
All right, thank you. That's good. And do you have something like slides to share with us, maybe?
I can speak a bit about the work that we do at Green Hope Foundation very quickly. So that's some of the work that we do. So like I said, we are working in
Mm-hmm.
25
Mm-hmm.
countries. We are accredited to United Nations Environment Program and UN Convention to combat desertification. And we really work with the world's most vulnerable communities. So whether that's in the Rohingya refugee camp or Syrian refugee camp, homes for children of prisoners in Nepal, Kenya, homes for HIV positive children. And our work is based on education for sustainable development. And we use really fun and creative modes of communication like music, art, dance, drama, sport, eco fashion to spread awareness, because a lot of the children that we work with have never been to school. So to teach them about the environment, about how to keep their community safe and healthy, all of these creative modes really help. And really, we've planted over 300,000 trees for climate justice. We've planted more than 5,000 mangroves. We've conducted more than 238 cleanups of beaches, parks, ravines, canals. We work on recycling, so 250,000 kilos of waste. Gender equality is a big part of our work, where we work with women in communities that are most affected by environmental disasters, wars. So skills education, workshops, and protection from sexual assault, sustainable fishing, farming, decent work. We also work with the private sector to make sure that they are not left out of the dialogue, because a lot of the time they get a lot of the blame, but no one actually gets them into the dialogue. So it's kind of like this vicious cycle. So we break that and make sure that they're part of the dialogue and are able to be more sustainable. We work on intergenerational solidarity. So working with retirement homes and make sure that every person, regardless of their age, is involved. During the pandemic, we have installed deep bore tube wells, rainwater harvesting systems, toilets in Bangladesh, distributed livestock, and workshops in organic farming for women specifically. In Liberia and also in Bangladesh, we've installed solar panels and solar street lights to provide girls with computer literacy education, and the solar street lights make sure that they're able to walk home safely at night. And our most recent project is actually the installation of 2 mobile libraries that run on clean energy, one in Bangladesh, one in India. And these children hadn't gone to school for 1.5 years. And most of the girls have already dropped out because they feel that their families feel it's not important for them to go to school. So we brought the library to them, and now it goes every week and ensures that the children are able to read. And for the women in one of the communities in India, we've distributed solar cookers so that because they're daily wage earners, and then they're able to, put the food in the morning, and the children are able to, by the time they come home, are able to eat. And in our urban environments and also rural, we have our Grow Your Own Food campaign, where our children's board, they are leading it, and they're growing their own food, making their own compost. And it's truly amazing to see all the different things they've grown. And finally, we work on peace and nuclear disarmament. And we have our campaign, We Want Books, Not Nukes. And we work to ensure that the money being put towards nuclear weapons is actually directed towards, eradicating poverty, good health. Now, during the pandemic, ventilators, really ensuring that people are able to create a more sustainable world. And then finally, during the pandemic, we've switched online to interact with a lot of our audience. So we've had some amazing speakers that are 95 plus webinars, from the former president of the UN General Assembly, former president of Ireland, Mary Robinson, former prime minister of my country, Canada, the Right Honorable Kim Campbell, former and and also young people who've done amazing work. And we've continued our academies as well online so that the children don't miss out. So that is just a bit about the work that we do. There's a lot more, but that is a bit about what we do.
Those are amazing. Those are amazing. And 2021, 2012, you started the Green Hope Foundation. It's been 9 years. It's been running. And what are the grassroots challenges that you guys have been facing?
Yeah, we have been running 9 years. Our birthday is actually International Youth Day, so we that just now. So I would say at the grassroots, we face a lot of challenges because we start so young. When we work with certain communities, it's very important for us to always remember that it's not just us going in there and telling people what to do, it's us working with them. And since a lot of the communities are really conservative, it's very difficult at first for us to work with the women and girls. But, we slowly and steadily, we are able to create change. And that's something that we have learned, that it's very important to have that patience to, the ultimate goal is bringing about change. So, we work with the communities and with them, not just us telling them. So, and we've been able to overcome those challenges in that way, slowly and steadily. Apart from that, for our projects, I'd say that as a youth organization and as a young woman-led organization, funding is one of the greatest challenges we face, because it's still not,
Mm-hmm.
people don't see it as lucrative to invest in
Mm-hmm.
youth organizations. There's a lot of tokenism, but when it comes to actual work and actual, young people calling for impacting lives, then it just gets ignored because no one actually wants to put in that effort. So yeah, I'd say those are our challenges. And then, threats to our safety as well. I guess for me, stalking, death threats, cyberbullying, all of that. So for me, it was always very important to make sure that Green Hope is a safe space for every single person working with us. And that is what we strive to do, where our main goal is impacting lives and bringing a smile on people's faces, and also ensuring that the planet is healthy and thriving. So, yeah, our challenges are there. We understand that they're there, and we do everything in our power to overcome them through our work.
Fantastic. And running Green Hope Foundation in 25 countries must, like need a funding. And how do you financially support it?
Hmm. Yeah. So, with the funding that so our funding comes from my honorariums most of the time. So, like the honorariums I get for speaking, or if I win an award.
Wow.
So that comes from there. When we started out, our parents were our greatest supporters, obviously, because we were 12. So
Wow.
they still do help out for a lot of the projects, because most of our members are actually minors. And then, if we have grants, or like, sometimes individuals
Mm-hmm.
come into our lives like angels, and then they help us
Mm-hmm.
out. So it kind of just goes from there. And like, for a few of our projects, we've worked with corporates as well that want to, truly want to bring about sustainable change. So again, it's something that is an issue, but we don't let that stop us, because at the end of the day, we want to impact,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
kind of find a way. But definitely that is something that, I am trying to raise more awareness on, because it's really sad that when young people want to do more work, truly want to do work, not just, striking or protesting. That's how we've been tokenized a lot, but actually working at the grassroots, it does get difficult. So really reallocating the funding to that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. And what will be the future goals that the Green Hope Foundation want to achieve?
Well, our ultimate goal is to ensure that, every single person adopts a sustainable way of living. And I always say that our goal, like, for us to be in every country of the world, but not tokenistically, but every single person, again, moving towards more sustainable lifestyles. Obviously, that is our ultimate goal. But, in the shorter term, just like reaching out to the most vulnerable communities, seeing how we can help out best, that, like some of the future projects that we're looking at are like, more mangrove restoration in some of the small island developing states that we work with, like in Kiribati, or, working on solar panel installation in some of the villages to provide them with electricity. So those are
Mm-hmm.
short-term goals. And, just going from there, we were very pleasantly surprised during the pandemic that we were able to open up 4 new chapters in the 1.5 years, because there was so much need for bringing about positive change on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hoping to continue that momentum, and keep going and keep working, and just go from there. So yeah, that is how our near future and ultimate future looks like.
And thank you. And you recently like advocate the voice of women in United Nations Women. And what did you do actually?
I'm one of the co-leaders and the youth leaders of the UN Women's Generation Equality Forum Action Coalition on Feminist Action for Climate Justice. And the Generation Equality Forum was this huge forum. It is this huge forum that brings together feminist leaders from across the world working on different issues that intersect with gender equality and women's rights. So yeah, as a co-lead of one of the action coalitions, we were able to share our work from the grassroots. And also, all of us who were part of that forum made commitments to making the world more gender equal. And for Green Hope Foundation, our commitments included making sure that there's more education on the ground for resilience building in climate disaster zones. There's more data that is valid and available, and that is actually collected by women and girls who work on the ground, instead of just like, everything coming from the top, which we have seen as grassroots actors ourselves. We've seen how that does not reflect the work on normalizing
Yep.
that. Ultimate commitment being that we continue our fight for a gender equal world, and not stopping. So yeah, those were the commitments that we made, and we joined other commitment makers who made their own commitments, from some CEOs and people who are in policy making, to grassroots actors like us working with the masses.
Right. That's amazing. And also, Kehkashan also a L'Oreal Paris Women of World honoree, and
Yeah.
you're one of the inspiring, role model for women across the world. And what would be your message to all the women across the world?
Well, I think that my main message is that we are strong, we are powerful, we are already empowered. So just ensuring that we continue to fight the good fight and just keep going, and not let anyone tell us what to do, because we have the rightful seats at the table. And if someone doesn't give it, then, create a space for yourself and just go from there. And that's really my advice to every single person. For women, yes, and that holds true for young people as well, and for all communities that have historically been marginalized. So yeah, just going from there.
All right, Kehkashan, what people know from your social media and your profile is like you have been a lot of stuff, like amazing stuff. And when were you in the lowest point in your life?
I one of the qualities I listed earlier was optimism, and that is reflected in my organization, Green Hope Foundation. So for me, I'm like an eternal optimist. I'm extremely positive, and even if I face the challenges and all of that, I always try to find the bright side. So yeah, I think that I kind of just, that is the way that I go. I would say that a lot of the times when in the communities that I work with, sometimes there are situations that are really heartbreaking. I remember when I went into the Syrian refugee camp for the first time, I felt my heart breaking because it was so horrifying. And it's really sad. But again, like using that optimism that I keep within me, I think I'm just able to continue the work and make sure that we're able to overcome the challenges, instead of just wallowing in that and saying that, oh my God, it's so sad and it makes me angry and we're just going to stay that way. No, it's about finding a solution, and that is what I use my optimism for. So yeah, I wouldn't say the low, I don't focus on the low points or when I feel like really sad. It's just me finding a way through hope and optimism to make the world a better place.
All right, that's amazing. And also for the young people around the world, what are your message and your advice to all of the people around the world, in order they can face like the challenges that now we all have been experienced, like climate change and gender equality and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would say to young people, but this actually applies to everyone. But, I think that the most important thing is educate yourself, educate your community, educate your family, go from there and find what the local impacts are, the local challenges, and then see what you can do in your own small community. I think that if every single person did that, we would be able to create positive change and address our world's greatest challenges, as you said, from climate change to gender inequality, to justice for all. I think we can start from there. And as young people, it's, now we live in this age of media and social media, and everything is kind of, always, especially the Western media, they talk about a lot of solutions. It's not common for everyone. And, I think it's really important that young people just create their own path of success, not just following what someone else is doing. And especially for those of us who aren't countries, it's like creating our own path and just going from there and doing what you see best fits with your local challenges. So, yeah, I think that is really important. And at the end of the day, localized grassroots action is extremely important. So, first you get the knowledge and then you work to turn that knowledge into action. And I think all of us young people can do that, the grassroots action.
Yeah, all of young people just like us can do that action. And talking about your family, do your family truly support your school and also your work right now?
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm very fortunate that my parents have been my greatest support system, like in
Mm-hmm.
every possible way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like they continue to work with me to this day as well. And I grew up seeing them as my inspiration because I grew up in a household with empathy.
Mm-hmm.
I go out with my parents every weekend to distribute food and clothes to the less fortunate. My grandmother to this day has an organic terrace garden in the city she lives.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's really cool, and that inspired us to start our
Yeah.
food campaign where the children now take that forward. So yeah, for me, it's I'm really fortunate that they support everything that I do. And I in my culture, education is extremely important, the arts are extremely important, and following your dreams is very important. So my parents always supported me to do whatever I wanted to do and what I was passionate about. And I do consider myself fortunate that they supported me throughout everything. So yeah.
Perfect. And if one day your family, your parents will find our YouTube a video and they watch you in Jadi PNS YouTube, what will you tell them?
You know, so you said could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. What will you say to your parents, to your family, if one day they will find your interview session in Jadi PNS YouTube?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you. And, let us continue to work together to create a better world.
Thank you so much. And the last question for Kehkashan Basu: what is Kehkashan Basu's hope for a better world?
Well, it is my hope that every single person, regardless of any kind of social factor, is able to have find the empathy in their hearts to be good human beings for humanity and the planet, and just try to even take the smallest action to bring about a positive change in their lives and in the lives of their communities. And I think if all of us did that, we would be able to create a sustainable world, which is, of course, my ultimate hope and dream.
Thank you so much, Kehkashan Basu. Stay healthy, and we hope like the Hope Foundation will get so much, like bigger team members and also impact across the world. Again, thank you so much, and for all the watching Jadi PNS and for the Forbes 30 under 30 edition. Thank you, and we hope that all of what Kehkashan Basu shared will inspire you, especially for the women and also for the young people across the world. Again, thank you, and see you in the next Jadi PNS house in live session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kehkashan